Following UConn's 71-52 victory in the exhibition game against Boston College, Dan Hurley said this about the Huskies' defense to reporters. Credit to Store Central's Twitter account that was first to post this quote, but he said this: "Last year, we were so easy to play against. Teams got catches. We were not disruptive. We had no discipline and fouled a lot while being a soft team. For us now, we're pressuring people, we're pressuring catches, just have to develop the discipline not to foul." Dion, what do you make of this quote with Dan Hurley? What have you seen out of their defense so far, even in an exhibition? And do you buy these trends continuing?
I mean, I do think they were soft last year.
Mm-hmm.
Soft last year. A question for you, actually, really quickly before I go on. Do you think they're like less soft this year?
I think having Malachi Smith at the point of attack, and I get that it'll probably look different when Silas Demery is healthy, that Malachi will be coming off the bench. But I think Demery at the point of attack is pretty disgusting as well. Like both those dudes can be so disruptive. And I think when you're comparing it to Hassan Diarra, or if we really want to get in the weeds, Aiden Mahaney. And I get that Diarra like had his moments of being feisty, a feisty on-ball defender. I just think that both Demery and Malachi Smith are a different level. And hopefully you have an improved Terrace Reed who can stay out of foul trouble on the back end. And, he's not the most natural post defender, I would say, or the most comfortable. I don't think there's going to be too many instances where it's like, oh, Terrace Reed just completely walled someone off and he can't get into foul trouble. You can score over him. But I think with his size and his athleticism, he can at least be a deterrent, will at least give you some block shots. And I think be less of a liability there than Samson Johnson was.
Okay. Yeah. I don't disagree with any of that. I feel like Demery and Malachi are the two that make like the biggest difference. And then I think you're
Mm-hmm.
banging on like a pretty big leap from Terrace.
Mm-hmm.
um, to stay out of foul trouble, to be like an elite rim protector. I do believe he's a good rim protector just because of how bouncy he is, but
Yeah.
to also like guard people in the post because at the Big East level, like they do run like inside out offenses a lot more than like if you go to like the SEC
Mm-hmm.
or even the ACC, where it's a little bit more guard and wing dependent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I do think that like kind of factors in. I just look at it like through the lens of like the 2, 3, 4, in my opinion, Mullins solo caravan, and just as soft as last year. Just as soft as last year.
That that is where you could pencil in some cause for concern. And I think Mullins, he to me, so I love Braylon Mullins coming out of high school. I've said I think he ends up a lottery pick. He's probably we were just talking X factors for UNC. He might be the X factor of this defense. Like because he was such a hard competitor and like gave it his all, left it all out, like just a feisty type of player on the 3SSB circuit at the high school level. But like he has that size. He's a legit 6'6" to where you think that should at least sort of aid him and cover up, I guess give him a larger margin for error. But I would say I do have some questions. How is he going to hold up when they face a team with better athleticism on the perimeter? Can he play tough? Is he going to be willing to battle on the glass, chase 50-50 balls, all of that to where that, yeah, seemed like it came natural just because he was a fiery dude at the high school level, but just moving up, I think there could be a steeper learning curve for him.
Absolutely. I also think I love Braylon Williams here. This is the ultimate compliment. He doesn't need to be an elite defender to be a lotto pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just who Braylon, like that's just how talented he is. And I think some of the elements, for me, it's more so the quote than like I'm saying, like, I don't think Ball, Demery, or excuse me, Ball, Mullins, Carabin are a great 2, 3, 4. That's still if not the best wing trio in the country, what, two? Right? Behind maybe like, I don't know, maybe Kentucky?
Kentucky or BYU. Yeah. Yeah.
Louisville, maybe depending on who you view it at a Louisville level.
Mm-hmm.
But like Ball, Carabin, Mullins don't have to play defense to do what they want to do, and I just think that kind of factors in. It's the same thing we talk about with Purdue. Like I think that's the best team in the country. That backcourt, you can go get that backcourt though.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm with you. And I think when you look at the guys who might be most susceptible, I mean, they play some really good wings early on. November 15th, BYU comes to town. We just said like I would take Richie Saunders and AJ DeBonsa over any wing duo in the country. That will tell you really quickly how quote unquote soft they are defensively and if they've made the necessary corrections to not have a repeat of last year where they were 75th in the country in defensive efficiency. I mean, you see what they did last year. They like teams move the ball. Excuse me. They actually didn't move the ball. Like they were good at. I don't know. I was gonna say they were good at taking teams out of rhythm a little bit, but I still look at those numbers. And I'm like, yeah, I might just be searching for answers here to complement their defense last year. Their defense last year was bad. They got lit up from beyond the arc. And I mean, they were better around the basket, but it just seemed like sometimes it was poor communication or not necessarily knowing the scout or the assignment. And you want to say that they'll take some strides forward this year. Maybe you have more connectedness even between Ball and Caravan, another year older. But I'm just looking at, it's one thing when you're trying to stop Donald Hand and Chase Forte for Boston College. It's a different matter when it's Saunders and DeBonsa. And then with Arizona, you got two like just absolute beasts in Ivan Karchenkov and Dwayne Aristode, guys who are already chiseled and like have those college ready frames that can go get a bucket. You look at the Illinois game that's coming up in late November. How are they going to hold up against Andrei Stojakovic on the perimeter? Like they will have a chance to answer the bell early. I do think they're going to be way better at the point of attack, just having the size, the athleticism, the tenacity of that Malachi Smith and Silas Demery duo that you can turn to at any given moment at the point of attack. But beyond that, yeah, kind of like you said, I like Dan's optimism, and I think it's tough to argue when you see them hold BC to 15 made field goals last night. Boston College's their only offense came at the charity stripe. And that's what Hurley's getting at. We got to have the discipline to not foul. But I still think there are plenty of questions defensively in that aspect. And I love UConn. I think they're a top three team. But if they can win a national championship, which is the expectation in stores, they have some questions they have to answer there that we should know in the first month of the season.
Dion, you okay? You look a little sweaty.
So every August, September, my air conditioning breaks, and there's just nothing I can do about it.
Dude, that's tough. Out in California too. Like, I mean, what is it, like 80 degrees still there today?
Today's gonna be like 85, 90, but like peak summer, it gets like 110. My AC just doesn't ever hold up.
I mean, it sounds like it's a bummer that you can't take advantage of Duncan Mechanical Solutions because Duncan Mechanical Solutions is an HVAC company based in Angola, servicing the tri-state area, bringing commercial quality to the residential world with excellent customer service. You heard us talk about Duncan Mechanical last summer. If you need heating or air conditioning, kitchen or bath remodeling, or all of the above, Duncan Mechanical is the place to go in the Midwest. Go to DuncanMechanicalSolutions.com to take advantage and make sure you don't wind up like Dion.
Yeah, and it's okay to have those questions too, right? Like I think that's what makes this college basketball season like beautiful. Every team has questions. Purdue, unanimous number one, seemingly. Some questions, probably the same questions as UConn, by the
Yeah, right.
way. Probably the same exact questions as UConn. Houston, much different state of questions, but I think you can question Houston up and down that roster. Florida, massive question. So on Duke looks rough, unfortunately in that scrimmage, but we'll be all right. Like it's brotherhood first. Um, we'll be all right. But like I think every team like has some questions that they're kind of working through, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love this UConn team. I love what they bring to the table. I think Braylon Mullins is going to be a phenomenal Demery, Caravan, Ball, Reed. I just think respectfully to Terrence Reed, if you put a different center in that starting five, I don't think I have as many questions.
Like one who's more defensive minded, who stays out of foul. Okay.
Yeah, you just give me a 7-footer who rebounds, block shots. I think I, yeah, I don't think I have any other questions.
Oh man, I don't know if I agree with that. I think he has some questions about guarding in space or pick and roll coverages or even like as a one-on-one defender in the low post. Like there are question marks there, but like we said, I mean, he's got the link. It's just the physical tools of Terrace are always been what's so enticing.
Oh yeah.
And he showed enough last year to where I'm like, Well, okay, I'll give you this, Dion. If there is a defensive turnaround, if UConn can go from 75th in the country last year, and they blocked a decent amount of shots between him and Samson Johnson, but that's not the end all be all. Like if they turn around and can get back to a top 30 unit, I think it's that will they need Terrace to make strides. They need Terrace to become that elite rim protector for it to happen. I'm just of the mindset like I believe in him doing that more so than almost anybody they could have gotten in the portal, unless they went after my guy Henry Vasar or something. But you look at someone like Luke Bamboye at Texas Tech, who we've talked about, who profiles as like one of those elite rebounding shot blocking menaces. He's still moving up a level. I think there could be questions with any guy that they could have gone after to where, yeah, I don't know. I like with maybe it's just all the buzz and the praise for Terrace that has come out of UConn this offseason. I'm kind of buying some strides being made on that end, though.
I don't disagree. I actually probably didn't come off this way. I'm actually saying I think Terrence Reed is almost like too good. Like what you know what I mean? Like I think you could have used just a little bit more of a role playing center.
That
Um,
makes sense. Yeah, I get what you're saying now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Terrace is going to use a good amount of energy on offense.
Hmm.
I just think if you had a guy with a similar frame, similar size, similar physique, but was just like, I'll rebound, I'll block shots.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying Terrence Reed won't do both those things. I- I just think he's almost too good. Almost too.
If you had to call your shot on like where UConn ranks defensively at the end of the season, where do you think they do?
How long do you think Terrence Reed's going to play? Like minutes per game?
30?
Really? Like without being in foul trouble?
Okay, let's bump it down to 27. I'm just not really a Ryba believer. I know
Me
what's the
either. Me
dude
either.
their other big Chroma. He was like the first to come off the bench in the exhibition game, or maybe that portends favorably for him. But I mean, Ryby got the start. I I think Ryby's still a year away from being like you can consistently rely on him for a solid 15 minutes. I think he's massive and the offensive skill is so tantalizing, but I just think he gets pushed around a little bit and you have some of the you would have I don't think Ryby is soft. I just think he hasn't fully developed physically and you're going to have some of those same concerns if he's playing much more than like 10 minutes a game.
Yeah, I definitely I agree with all that. That's where I think like it's interesting with Terrace because like I do believe he's going to be in foul trouble. I do believe you need 30 minutes of Terrace Reed to like succeed.
Right.
I'm gonna say top 40. I don't think you're getting more than 23 to 25 minutes out of Terrace Reed just because of the foul trouble.
I'm going to say top 20. I really think Demery and Smith are that important, and that can be almost like a chain reaction for the rest of the roster. Where if they're taking guys out of rhythm, then that should like they're keeping guys out of the lane, collapsing defenses, throwing UConn into rotations. Then you should see that 3 point percentage, the defensive 3 point percentage, sort of buoy up a little bit. So, yeah, I'm high on this team. I understand the question marks. A lot of those should be answered pretty quickly, though.